In this short video, I will now explore the relationship between the forms of our media text. In my last video, I discussed Mulvey's male gaze. This will form a small part of my first point here, however I would like to draw more focus onto Szymanski's pluralism theory. The media offers a multitude of representations with great range, and pluralism argues that if the media does rely on some stereotypes, it is only because the media is reflecting reality, not defining it. There is no original judgment in place, simply a mirror being held up to society. This is certainly a point to consider when observing our sight and sound cover. The director of Shatterproof, of course, is not actually the gentleman pictured. Rather, he is a manufactured director that we used to model on our cover. The question I must therefore ask is, why use him? In the film industry, I believe it is safe to say that the repertoire of directors is largely dominated by men. Of course, there are notable female directors, inclusive of and not at all limited to the likes of Jane Campion, Kathryn Bigelow, and Greta Gerwig. However, even then the industry is filled with male names in positions of power. This is where Szymanski comes into play. As said, pluralism offers a direct reflection of society, and so, as a group, we opted for the director of Shatterproof to be represented by an older male model. The age of our fictional director, Christopher Clayton, is also worth considering as well as gender. Quite simply, we believe that our director would benefit from an older, more mature appearance, alluding to an auteur-like status, almost an homage to the likes of Martin Scorsese or Roman Polanski. I would certainly argue that evoking an auteur-like status is appropriate for the form, Sight and Sound being a more so academic film magazine in comparison to the mainstream appeal of Empire or Total Film. In regards to audience, the auteur-like appearance, including the black and white colour palette, establishes a more artistic magazine cover, and is so reflective of the content and its artistic sensibility. Looking closer at the magazine cover, we can actually start to draw connections between the stylistic liberties taken to tie all of these texts together. Given the symbiotic relationship between the film industry, that would have produced the film trailer and poster, and the press industry, that would have produced the Sight and Sound magazine as a separate entity, it makes most sense to include a connection between the face of the director and the film that is being promoted. The poster and the trailer are promoting the film, whereas the magazine is using the film and the cover to promote the magazine itself. Because of this mutually beneficial relationship between two industries, the stylistic bridge is the shattered glass effect that is part of the iconography of the film. As a semiotic bridge, the inclusion of this iconography creates a tighter connection between the two industries and the three texts. This can be seen in actual media text such as 2011's Drive, where the stylized neon pink is almost instantaneously recognisable to the film. As a combination of texts, even without the presence of actors or even a distinguishable colour palette, the use of the shattered effect allows for a connection across mediums that has a level of subtlety, whilst also profiteering off of a recognisable scheme.